Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are so happy that you took time out of the 115-degree heat. I know that was a really tough task to sell you on coming inside for a little while so that we can talk about something that became probably Yuma's biggest single-day event in 2011. And it was something that when the process started in May of 2010, none of us really knew exactly what to expect. And yet when it exploded, it just kept on going. And we certainly expect that year two of the 2012 El Toro Bowl will be just as big, if not bigger, than 2011. My name is Jim Howell. I'm the Sports Information Director here at Arizona Western College. And again, we want to thank you all for coming. I'm not going to do much of the talking. I want to get right to it. And I want to talk about mainly the three entities that really have gotten this process up and running and gotten it to where it is today. And that is namely the Caballeros de Yuma, the Matador Athletic Association, and Arizona Western College, who got together in May of 2010 and started this process going. And to be able to do that, you had to have cooperation and leadership from all three entities. And we have that leadership all on this days today. And without further ado, I want to start it off with the college aspect, and I want to introduce the president of Arizona Western College. Will you welcome, please, Dr. Glenn Maley.
Thank you, Jim. It's really a pleasure to be here and to welcome all of you this afternoon. As he said, to come out of the heat, but I always think about the heat is pretty nice when you start thinking about shoveling snow. So we like Yuma, Arizona, and very happy to be here. I've been associated with the college for the past 40 years in one way or another, and I can tell you there's nothing like bringing the community together like the El Toro Bowl. I also want to thank the El Matadors and the members of the Athletic Association. This is a wonderful opportunity to pull everybody together, and it wouldn't happen without everybody. I've had an opportunity to be at several bowl games, and I'll tell you, this is the premier bowl game in the country, and it's exciting to be a part of it. I also want to specifically identify Jerry Smith, because it wouldn't have happened without him. I know for a number of years he's been trying to pull it back together to bring something back to Yuma, and I just want to publicly thank him and thank all of you for being here. It's exciting for the college, exciting for the community, and I think it really is an example of everybody pulling together. So with that, I'm not going to put any pressure on Tom Minnick or anybody else, but we're really glad that you're here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Maley. And you don't need to worry. I'm sure there'll be plenty of pressure put on Tom before this press conference is done. Obviously, Dr. Maley is just one major component of this partnership, but as he mentioned, there was a man who really saw an opportunity, especially when he brought Tom Minnick to Arizona Western College in 2008, and all of a sudden, the football team started growing by leaps and bounds in its success and in the ability to make kids get high exposure and be able to graduate and move on to four-year schools. And he saw that a bowl could really put that over the top. And he knew that there was a lot of things that had to be put in place, and he has been tireless in that work ever since this started off. And I want to introduce the guy who is my boss and who is the guy who shepherds over the Matador Athletic Program and has since 2005. Will you welcome, please, the Athletic Director here at Arizona Western College, Mr. Jerry Smith.
Thanks, Jim. I certainly want to take this opportunity to thank some very special people that have allowed us to make this the successful event that it was last year and that we intended for it to be this coming year. Certainly, the 2011 El Toro Bowl was exactly what we expected it to be. We did exactly what we said it was going to do, and involving the entire community. We brought on the high schools, we brought on the military, we brought on the physicians, the hospital, and all the sponsors. And as I'm standing in the middle of the field on December the 3rd, 2011, and I look up in the stands and I look at the fence, and I look at the concession stand, and I look at the hospitality tent, it's exactly what we predicted that it would be when we started the process some 18 months prior to that. So I'm extremely pleased that we were able to bring the quality event that we brought to Yuma and we had the participation that we had. And it would not have been possible had it not been for several groups of people. And the first group I'd like to recognize is the Caballeros. Certainly with Dave and his leadership, and with the El Presidente, starting with Nate, then going through Terry, and now as we work with Jeff, and the rest of the members of the Caballeros that headed up the particular committees that help us make the event such a success, it would not have been possible. And obviously when we started the process and we started talking about a partner to help us put on an event that Yuma would be proud of, I think without a doubt we picked the right people to be in our corner. And I'd like for you to help me give them a hand. The Caballeros de Yuma. And then obviously, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Time Warner as our title sponsor last year, and certainly with Ricky. Ricky stepped up immediately last year and said, we want to be a part of this. Well, as all of you know, Ricky's no longer a part of Time Warner, so Time Warner does not want to be a part of it. But I immediately went to a guy that I consider a friend of Arizona Western College and a friend of especially of our athletic department, and a friend to Yuma, and a person that's been involved in many activities and has helped many organizations provide successful opportunities in the community. Now, I've been here almost 8 years, and I've known Ryan almost all of those 8 years that I've been here. I got acquainted with him when his grandfather was still alive and still in the dealership. And I can only buy a car down there. He won't let me even look anywhere else. So obviously I've driven Cadillacs and Lincolns and Fords my whole life, and I very well intend to do that in the future. But I've found Ryan, as we've talked and visited about different opportunities for Arizona Western College and in the community, and for particularly the athletic department, he's always been willing to step up and do what's right to be a partner in the community. And when I went in to visit with Ryan about the title sponsor, the El Toro Bowl this year, which obviously you would know what his first comment would be is, how much? And so we talked, and I told him, he said, count me in. So it's almost that easy. I also want to thank him for all the things that he's done, not only for the El Toro Bowl last year as one of the premier sponsors, but also for the Matador Athletic Association and things he's helped us out with throughout the years that I've been here. I also think should recognize two of his prime people that he brought with him, the business manager, the money man for Alexander Auto Center, Jeff Fritz, and then the Ford. When I go to the Ford dealership, I can't get in the door without talking to Everett Dawson, and I know Jeff and Everett have been stalwarts for Ryan's business to flourish as he has, and with his ability to get involved in the community as he gets involved in the community. Ryan, I want to personally, I know Ryan don't want to talk. He likes for me to talk, and then he likes to say yes. So he knows I'm good at that. But Ryan, I want to personally say, not only thank you for the title sponsor, but thank you for all you mean to Yuma and all you mean to Arizona Western College. I think it would be remiss if we didn't recognize the Walmart people. They stepped up big last year, and they're doing it again this year. Two of the managers are here with us today, Kevin Ladick and Kathy Perales. Why don't you all you don't have to stand, you just raise your hand, let them see who you are. Walmart and Sam's Club have stepped up as big sponsors for the El Toro Bowl. Also Paul Leitner, Sign Pro. You saw the billboards around last year and many of the other things that he did for the banners that was in the stadium. So obviously Paul was a big part of helping us promote the El Toro Bowl, as well as the media that's here with us today. KYMA was a big sponsor for us, as was El Dorado Broadcasting, as was the Yuma Sun. So certainly they made it very important for us, and was very substantial in getting the 6,000 people at the game. We're looking for even a bigger, better game. I'm not going to mention Tom. He already knows all about the expectations. Certainly, as we hired Tom to come and to lead our program, some going on 5 years ago, certainly he was a person that I thought was very capable, and certainly he has exceeded my expectations. Maybe as soon as we win a national championship, he will exceed it. But again, I want to thank our Matador Athletic Association members are here, the rest of the coaching staff that's here, and the rest of our staff in the athletic department. Obviously, Cindy Evans, as Dave can tell you, and the rest of the Caballeros. Cindy played a big part with us last year in providing opportunities for people to come to the Hall of Fame banquet, to come to the bowl banquet, to come to the luncheons, and come to the reception, and then to the game. And it was a big event. So I want to thank you for being here today. I want to thank the sponsors, especially thank Ryan, thank Dr. Maley for his comments, and certainly for his support for Arizona Western to be able to promote such an outstanding event for Yuma, Arizona. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jerry. As Jerry mentioned, for this to be successful, it was something that Arizona Western College could not put on its own. They needed a lot of help, and from people who were entrenched in the community of Yuma. And there is not a better organization more entrenched in the community of Yuma than the people that Jerry approached and who jumped on board really feet first and head first to make this possible. And lest you think that there are just 12 people in the room who called each other this morning and said, well, what are you wearing? There is actually a code for them. And it is a respected organization that has raised millions of dollars for our community. And I want to bring up the El Presidente, who has taken the baton, ripped it out of Terry Friedland's hands, and is now moving forward very soundly, which is tough to rip anything out of Terry Friedland's hands. Will you welcome, please, the El Presidente of the Caballeros de Yuma, Mr. Jeff Cameron.
Thanks for coming out today. Really, the baton was thrown at me. It really wasn't handed off. So, Caballeros have been around for over 50 years now. We just had our 50th anniversary, and we've really been striving to make excellence in Yuma and try to bring more people into the Yuma area, trying to get the community to be the best that it can be. And this event is one of those events. We do the Midnight at the Oasis, and we do Balloon Festival, and we do some of the other events that try to bring people into Yuma and showcase what a great community we have here. And this is one of those events, this El Toro Bowl. We were so happy to get involved with this a couple years ago when the thing first started, and Dave's really put this thing together nicely for us so that we can have such a great event here for the Yuma community and bring more people to showcase what a great town we have here in Yuma. So that's all I got to say. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Jeff. It's hard to believe that it's been 26 months now since this first came to fruition, where we met in a room just across the hall here at the 3C and discussed it and tried to figure out where there was common ground. And there are two guys that have put their heads together and have probably been the hardest workers in Yuma since that day, because they have been the co-chairman for this bowl game. One is Jerry Smith, and the other is the man I'm about to bring up from the Caballeros de Yuma. Will you welcome, please, Mr. Dave McDowell.
Well, thanks to all of you for being here. Again, the first thing, Ryan, thank you guys for jumping on board and doing the things that you guys have been doing for a number of years in the community. We appreciate everything you did last year. We appreciate what you're going to do this year, and we're going to try to do everything we can to at least make it as good as it was last year, and our goal is to make it better. Look forward to working with Everett and Jeff this year, because I know we're going to be doing a lot of things together with y'all. Especially thanks to the sponsors who really helped us put this thing together last year. There were a lot of things that went on last year, and it started with community support. Our sponsors and Jerry's mentioned a great number of them that stepped forward, not only financially, but also being there, being our advocates, talking this thing up for us, really helped to promote the El Toro Bowl and bring this thing to fruition that we knew had the possibility of being a great event. And when you take a look at the fact that we had somewhere close to 6,000 people in that stadium, another 25,000 listened to it on different broadcasts. So we were extremely happy with the way this thing came off last year, and it's our goal to bring it back this year bigger and better. I can't say enough for the support that we had from Arizona Western College, from Dr. Maley, all the way through the athletic department, the athletes, the coaches that came out and worked the event. There was just a lot of energy going on that day, a lot of things to be done, and there's a lot of folks, including these guys down here in the red shirt, plus another 45 or 50 of those same gentlemen from the Caballeros that were out there working from, early in the morning till late at night, and we really had a great event. If you were there and you saw the jets flying over, the jumpers coming in, the high school bands, all those elements that were a part of the event. Jonathan Lyons and I were standing down on the track along with Rob Philby when the jets flew over, and those kids, just as those kids finished singing the national anthem and those jets flew over, I tell you, it gave you chills. And then to have the kind of excitement all throughout the game that we had, we were extremely happy to have the kind of event we had. Our goal this year is to bring this thing back bigger and better. Last year was great. That's done. That's over and done with. We want to make the 2011 Toro Bowl a pleasant memory, but we want you to focus on 2012 and do the things that will make this community proud of what we're going to try to offer to you. Dr. Maley, Jerry, Tom Minnick, the entire athletic department have been absolutely phenomenal partners. I can't say enough, though, about the Matador Athletic Association, Dennis Booth, and the members of the MAA, that have stepped up and offered all kinds of support in every turn that we had, whether it was before the game, during the game, or after the game. And so, this thing was truly a partnership in every fashion of the word. It's going to be a great event this year. We're not going to disappoint you. We made a lot of promises last year, but we're making more this year, and we're going to make it a good event. So, hope to see you out there. Tickets go on sale September 3rd. September 3rd. So if you'd like to start planning to buy your tickets, let us know, and we'll have it up and going for you. So thank you for being here, and things are going to be good.
Thank you, Dave. For this to be successful, there are people that have to wear a lot of different hats to be able to make things go forward in a lot of different ways. Well, the man I'm about to bring up, there is no one that wears more hats around this venture than he does, because not only is he a member of the Caballeros de Yuma, not only does he run his own successful business here in Yuma, not only is he a member of the district governing board here at Arizona Western College and the president of the El Toro Foundation board, but he is also a proud card-carrying member of the Matador Athletic Association and has been for several years. And he is probably one of the people that exemplifies what positive spokesmanship can do to be able to make not only things like the El Toro Bowl and all of the Caballeros de Yuma events successful, but all the things that go on here at Arizona Western College and at Matador Athletics, and how that zeal can truly make a difference in the lives of a lot of different people, most notably our students here at AWC. He is, as I mentioned, the president of the El Toro Foundation Board and the Matador Athletic Association. Will you welcome, please, Mr. Dennis Booth?
You know what? I think most of the things have been said, but I'll tell you, the thing about our event last year that was most exciting was that everyone in this room owned that event very early. You immediately bought in as major sponsors. And we appreciate you so much, Ryan, this year for stepping up even more. And for everyone that was a part of it last year, the Matador Athletic Association members rushed to get their friends to buy tickets with them. No one of this group thought we would sell our reserve seats out so quickly. But guess what? We'll have more this year because we're going to reserve the entire stadium. So we want to sell them out quickly. But you as a community own this bowl game. And for the excitement level that began 30, 60 days before the event last year, it was just phenomenal in my mind's eye. Everyone worked hard, and I think everyone in this room probably had a part of it. I had more people volunteering that helped than you can imagine. And candidly, it's almost difficult to find enough jobs for the good people that want to step forward. But for all of you that made it successful, I will say thank you on behalf of the entire organization involved. Thank you now.
Thank you, Dennis. Even though this has been one of the more lighter versions of the Tom Minnick Celebrity Roasts that we normally hold around this time, he's still going to have his chance to speak last on the podium, because to be able to have a bowl game like this and to have the exposure that comes with it, you've got to have a lot of momentum building into it. And when Jerry Smith made that decision back in 2008 to bring Tom Minnick on board, the AWC football program and the AWC athletics program have never been the same. It has all been a positive whirlwind, and it continues. It continued on December 3rd when he brought his team to the brink of a national championship. And he continues to try and strive for that goal and get over the top this year. So without further ado, entering his 5th year as the head coach of your Matador football team, will you welcome, please, Mr. Tom Minnick.
First of all, I want to apologize for my attire. I forgot all about it. And I wanted to forget about it because I want to forget about 2011 El Toro Bowl, the first quarter. So this brought all the bad memories back of that first quarter. But we've actually started this week. I've been working 12-hour days, getting kids all situated for summer school and getting them in, ready to go to get them an opportunity to successfully start their academic career here. And we've brought in about 45 guys for the summer, which actually helps them out a ton. So we're proud of that. The other half will get here at the end of July, and we'll start the 1st. This event was unbelievable. This is, I've been to other bowl games, and this by far is the best bowl game that's been put on in the United States. So I'm very proud of that it's our own here in Yuma. Hopefully we can represent AWC well again and get to the bowl game. I know there's always a lot of pressure. It's tough. I don't think anybody thought we'd ever get there, and we did, and it was for the national championship. We just hopefully, if we'd have started off well enough, if you guys stayed around for the whole game, we did come back, but it was just a little bit too short. If we had another 5 minutes, maybe we could have pulled it off. But we're going to be very, this year, with the kids coming in, a lot of new faces. There's only about 15 kids coming back off last year's squad that have any experience here at AWC. Now, we do have some transfers, and we got some good freshman recruits. A lot of people have recognized us already. We're ranked number 2 in the Dirty 30 already, which is saying something. That's just because of the kids we got coming back. They're pretty good, and some of the transfers we've got coming in that just help our ranking out. So hopefully we can repeat last year, and I'll tell this story a little bit. I wouldn't do it here, but I did it at my former place, and it's kind of crazy. Recruits were sitting out here. We had to bring them in from Chicagoland area, and they'd all sit down, and we'd talk about the school and bring them in and talk about the academics and how to get started and everything like that. And when we started about the football, we'd have a presentation up on the board, and I'd be clicking it. And the year before, we went to a bowl game and we lost. And I had the trophy right here, and I hate losing. And I don't know what came over me. I picked up the trophy, and if that trophy was here, I'd pick it up and throw it against the wall. And it busted, and all the parents are just looking at me going, dang, he's very competitive. And I am very competitive. I want to get back to that bowl game. I hate losing. And I guess that's why Jerry brought me here, because the fact that very competitive. We want to win here. We want to do the right things. And hopefully this year we'll serve Yuma proud here, win the national championship.
Thank you, Tom. And you're apologizing for your attire, but, there are certain looks that you expect. You expect Dr. Maley to look presidential. You expect Tom Minnick to look like a coach. Does he not look like a coach? It started. It's on. And the great thing about it is, there were nearly 6,000 people in that stadium. There were 102 points scored, which, by the way, is the most points ever scored in an NJCAA national championship game of football. But I think one thing that Tom Minnick would like to point to is, as he mentioned, there's a lot of young faces, a lot of new faces on that team. The important part is, Tom, how many of those kids on that team are heading to four-year schools next year?
Well, right now, we got 17 guys already with four-year offers for this year already. And then last year, we had 17 go Division I and a total of 23 get rides to different schools, some Division II schools. So first of all, with 17 going Division I, that's telling you something that they're getting their academics. I mean, because you can't leave here and transfer to a four-year school without graduating from here. So Coach Dominguez, who handles our academic side of things, is doing a great job getting them in the right classes, paying attention to what they need to graduate and getting them out. And then with all of our connections, getting our kids all over the country. Picture this, the top 5 schools in the nation, Division I. We got Damian Williams at Oklahoma, that could win the national championship. Isaiah Wiley at USC, that could win the national championship. And Jesse Williams, who already has one national championship, could win it again next year. We got 3 kids in the top 5 teams in the country playing right now, which says something about the program, says something about our coaches, you guys' support. And I'm very proud of that because, I mean, that just helps us out recruiting and everything like that. But it's just not the football. It's from the faculty, the administration, everybody at sports. It's all a team. And I appreciate all your help with everything.
I think that definitely deserves a hand. So, Saturday, December 1st at 1 p.m., that is when the official El Toro Bowl, proudly presented by Alexander Automotive Group, kicks off. But there are so many things that are going to be in the mix prior to that, and so much hard work that lays in wait for the guys that are wearing red in front of me and for all of the people that you see up here on the days, including the guy who, as he said, I'm just eye candy, the vice chairman of the El Toro Bowl for the Caballeros de Yuma. How about a hand for Jonathan Lyons, who was as hard a worker as any of us last December and will be hard at work, as we already are, getting things together. So now is your chance to ask what maybe you still need to know about the El Toro Bowl. So anybody but Terry Friedland have a question? No, if you have a question, please raise your hand, and I will bring it around on this side, and Allison Howell, our communications coordinator here at Arizona Western College, will handle questions on that side. You, yes, you.
Dave, can you tell us a little bit about the proceeds from the event, from academic and athletic perspective, the scholarships that are provided?
Some of the things that we're extremely proud of is that the money that comes from, in terms of revenue from this event, goes to one of 3 areas. And the first area that we're extremely proud of is that this past year we were able to donate almost $9,000 to the Arizona Western College Foundation for scholarships. The second part of that is the rest of the money is divided between the Caballeros de Yuma and the Matador Athletic Association. The Matador Athletic Association utilizes that money to build their programs for scholarships. The Caballeros turns that money back over and reinvests it in the community to bring other events to promote the quality of life in Yuma, or to donate toward youth organizations or other needy organizations in Yuma to help them sustain the efforts and the things that they do. So that's really the 3 areas that any money that we make off this event goes to. We're extremely proud of what we were able to do last year.
Well thought out, Terry. Thank you.
Excuse me, Eddie with the Yuma Sun. Just a follow-up to that. How much money did end up getting raised? You mentioned the $9,000 for the scholarship funds. How much money did end up going to the other 2 organizations you mentioned? And also, was there any kind of estimate that anyone saw from what the economic impact on the city as a whole was?
ABC and the Caballeros de Yuma made about $32,000 each on this thing. And Ed, I would tell you that probably Ken Rosevear or Julie Engel would probably be better served in speaking to that than I would. But one of the things that we know is that a lot of people ate in restaurants last year. A lot of people stayed in a lot of hotels. A lot of people in town for this outside event, so you might want to catch Ken or at the end of this thing and talk to him, because he can probably give you a better perspective on that than I can.
Other questions? Have one in the back.
Well, I guess just to follow up to that then, talk about reaching out to the people from out of town, from the opposing teams. How do you, or the marketing strategy to get them to come to Yuma, spend those dollars here, get them into hotels so they can spend their money elsewhere?
Yeah, we have a committee put together to select the visiting team. Obviously, we want the highest ranked team we can get to come to Yuma. Certainly, we feel the higher ranked team we can get, the more support they'll have. So as we search out and do research to determine, what team might be available, it just so happened last year, as we finished the season #1 in the country, East Mississippi #2 is a pretty easy choice. But we reached out and we were able to, as a result of the money we were able to raise, reached out to help the team with many of their expenses. Obviously, in the contract, the team that comes in to join us gets $10,000 up front, and then some housing, thanks to Paul Rogers at the Holiday Inn Express. We provided them some meals as well as some other opportunities while they were here.
Other questions? That's all right. I come to you.
Well, I guess my question would be that what happens, bad case scenario, we're #2, and the #1 team wants to play you. Does that mean we're not going to have our home team here?
That's still up for debate. Tom says it's not debatable.
Let me answer that if I can. The last thing we want to do is deprive the team the opportunity to play for a national championship. So early on, our conversation was we want to be the national championship and we want it to be here. So as Jerry said, anything else is up for speculation. Part of that is some of the other bowls in their conferences, if they win their conference, they're obligated to play in their bowl. And many of those teams, in fact, are not playing for a national championship in a year that they could have qualified. And we want to make sure that doesn't happen to our team. Thank you.
Eddie?
I guess this is for Jerry. Do we know who the Hall of Fame inductees are going to be this year?
We're going to remove the Hall of Fame as a part of the bowl game. It's going to be another activity on campus at another time during the year.
Maybe we should also go over what events are included for this year's El Toro Bowl. Does one of you want to speak to that? I'm just the MC.
I can speak to it. Obviously, the team will arrive on Thursday, and on Thursday night, we'll have a coach's reception and a press conference where the visiting team can be introduced along with the coach and talk about the activities, the game, the players, the teams, whatever it might be. On Friday, we'll have our community service where our teams will go into one of the local schools to provide an opportunity for the young people. Last year, we were at San Luis Middle School and San Luis Junior High, where they had about 500 students each. And Public APS was a sponsor for that. They provided footballs that we were able to give each of those student athletes, and we had each of the teams speak to those young people about the importance of education, about the importance of staying in school. And, it was just an exciting event. Also, we had the Gadsden Band there. It was probably one of the more exciting parts of it. East Mississippi actually said one of the most exciting parts of their trip was to hear the Gadsden Band on Friday as we did those community service events. Then on Friday noon, we'll have a ladies' luncheon for the administration and the coaches' wives and people that's involved in the bowl. Then obviously the bowl banquet on Friday night will be here in the 3C where we are right now in this building, and then conclude with the game on Saturday at 1 o'clock.
What was behind the decision to move the Hall of Fame? Because wasn't it pretty successful last year doing it together? And I guess what's behind separating?
It was successful because of the events, because of us being able to double induct the 1972 national champion football team, and it just kind of fell in place for that. But I think it's going to be an activity in the future where different people are going to be nominated. There's going to be a committee from the institution to select the people from the Hall of Fame, and we just it makes it a long week when you start on Wednesday and you don't get through to late Saturday night. So I think it's an opportunity. It's something I think that the institution certainly wants to continue to recognize its alumni and its supporters, but maybe it'll be better served in the future as we have a different event at a different time on campus.
Other questions? Sure, the moment I go in the back, and then you've got a question.
Thank you. I think it's worthwhile discussing the economics because this is a tremendous effect on this community. We have about 4,000 hotel rooms in Yuma. We put about 1,200 in the last 6 years. So we were involved in fielding calls, and we know that we got calls from at least 5 states: California, Nevada, Colorado, New Mexico, and Texas. So we know those people were involved in coming here. The hoteliers were very happy. The bars and restaurants were very happy with the results that came from the old Toro Bowl. We know what the numbers are from dove season. They're about $800,000. So if you just do the math, if you put 6,000 people in the stands, and probably 20 to 30% of those people were from out of town, just run the numbers and you're going to see it's well over $1 million in economic impact to the community. And it's a multi-day event. It's not just one night. Those people came to stay 3 or 4 or 5 nights, and they are doing all the things you would do when you visit a town. And we had the Visitors Bureau had some tours going on and so forth. So it's a huge economic driver for this community, and as it grows, it'll be even better. And we've got the room for them, and we're very happy. I know we helped in the ticket sales, so we know where those calls came from. And believe me, it was crunch time on Friday, people getting tickets. It got pretty hairy there at the end of, let's go out and collect the few tickets that are left in different locations to make them available to people wanting them. So that's as close to a sellout as you can get. So the economics are a tremendous thing for this community.
I can tell you there were very few people more relieved to see December 4th come last year than our ticket chairman, Steve Palick, last year. Other questions? Well, again, mark your calendars. Saturday, December 1st. It is a 1 p.m. start at Veterans Memorial Stadium. And I want to remind you, eltorobowl.com is the official website of the El Toro Bowl, and there is going to be plenty of things that are going to be going up on that site over the next couple of months, most notably about ticket information, how you can get tickets, where you can get tickets, and when you can get tickets. And so we certainly hope you will be a part of that. All of these people that are on the days in front of you, for you media people, if you want to get one-on-ones, they are available. And we thank you all so much for coming, and more importantly, we thank you all so much for your continued support of the 2012 El Toro Bowl, presented by Alexander Automotive Group. Thank you for coming.